This afternoon I'm going to do an engine oil flush on my 1995 Toyota Rav4. I've got the Rav up on my homemade ramp. Just a reminder, don't do anything that I do. The weather's not looking so great either, so this might be a bit of a race against time. This is everything that I'm going to use to do an engine oil flush. Change the oil filter, remove, clean, paint, and reseal the oil sump. Change a couple of gaskets and 3 nuts on the exhaust pipe and put in new oil. To do this, I've got a drill with a wire wheel brush, gasket maker, RTV silicone, a gasket for the oil pan drain plug, 3 nuts for the exhaust pipe, 2 gaskets for the exhaust pipe, safety goggles because oil is messy, rust mate, container for the rust mate, engine cleaner because the oil is messy, a sponge, safety cleaner to prepare the gasket surface, 3 cloths, toothbrush for my teeth or for old nuts and bolts. This is a 14mm socket on top of a T-handle for the exhaust pipe, 10mm for hard to get places. This will scrape off some of the old silicone and pry open the oil sump. This will do the same. Gloves because oil is messy. This and this are for the oil, draining oil and putting new oil in. New oil, 20W50. A container for the old oil, black spray paint, and of course an oil filter and engine flush. I forgot to mention the other side of this socket wrench is 12mm. We need to take off the splash guard covers on both sides to get access to the oil sump. Then take off the cap for the engine oil and stick in a funnel. Empty the entire engine flush contents into your engine. Put the cap back on and then run the engine for 10 minutes. While the engine's running, let's go and clean this funnel. We're going to use it again later. Time efficiency. You're also going to want to put gloves on at this point. Things are about to get messy. Position a pan underneath the oil sump. 10 minutes are up. Let's turn off the engine. I also got myself a new watch strap. Merry Christmas to me. Loosen the plug with a 14mm socket wrench and then get ready for an oil slick. Let that all drain out. I saved the plug. We're going to replace the gasket, but I'm keeping the plug. Okay, it's finally stopped pouring. I'm ready onto my second pair of gloves and I'm going to plug this hole again temporarily. Then we need to move the oil away and funnel it all into this old container to be disposed of properly later. We need to wash this again. This says don't touch for a reason. Once the engine has cooled right off, then you can reach in under the exhaust manifold to the oil filter. Lefty loosey, just twist it off by hand and then pull that out. The old oil filter. And then the new oil filter needs to be opened. And then I'm just going to dip my finger in the new oil and put it around the edge of the new oil filter. Just on the gasket. Righty-tighty to get the oil filter back on. Screw it until it's finger tight and then add a little pressure. Moving to the oil pan, a 10mm socket wrench will get all the nuts and bolts off. Once all the bolts are off the oil sump, it's 17 bolts and 2 nuts holding it in place. Wedge a flat screwdriver above the corner of the sump and slowly pry it off. Okay, off comes the sump. Okay, with a bit of prying, the sump came off. You can see the dipstick over there, so I need to pull that out so I don't damage it. The exhaust pipe is now in the way of lowering the sump fully. Removing the whole thing would be exhausting, so I'm just going to lower this section slightly. Rain check, the weather has moved in. This is going to have to resume tomorrow. It's 10 AM the next day and it's still raining lightly, but I really need to get that oil pan off. So I'm just going to work in the rain. A little water won't kill you. The long T-handle and 14mm socket are handy tools here for getting right to the top of the exhaust to get 3 nuts off. Moving the exhaust slightly allows the sump to come off. There's the oil pan. It still looks like it's in good condition, so I'll just give it a good clean. Doing this on a rainy day is actually quite pleasant. After spraying on some high heat black spray paint, I'm going to replace the gasket on the oil pan drain plug. Back under the RAV. The surface needs to be scraped clean of any old gasket and prepared with safety cleaner for the new gasket. I'm also using safety cleaner to prepare the surface of the oil pan. The instructions are clear. Clean all the surfaces with Pratley Safety Cleaner, apply a bead of Pratley gasket maker going around all the holes, and assemble the oil pan. Lastly, allow 24 hours for full cure. The bead of RTV silicone is about 4mm wide and goes around all of the holes for the bolts perfectly. It's ready to be slapped on, extremely gently. Once it's in place, and this is an important step, put all the nuts and bolts back finger tight, and then only tighten them down with a socket wrench moderately after another half an hour. Then after waiting 30 minutes, we tighten all the bolts down with a bit of pressure. Dip the dipstick back. The 2 exhaust gaskets that need replacing are in the section of exhaust that I've already loosened below the heat shield. So I'm taking the heat shield off with a 12mm socket wrench. These exhaust gaskets are completely finished. The new gaskets just clip in place. They were definitely needed. Then the exhaust is moved back up to its original position. And then screw on the 3 shiny new nuts with a 14mm socket. The heat shield goes back on with your 12mm socket. 24 hours later, the sump is looking nice and shiny. You can see a little bit of the gasket has squashed through, but it is cured solid. Screw both the splash guard covers back on. It's time to lube up 4.1 liters of lubrication goes in there. Cap back on and we are ready to rumble.